pace has been correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
Now, as the Zipsa race here at Long Beach gets ready to go to work, off in the tightest corner there, the number 11 turn. They single file into it, then try to pair them up. The flag is green already, so we're going to have a bunch of them heading down into turn one. It looks like the Nissan got to jump on everybody.
Three abreast here, and one of the Mustangs made a move around the outside. I believe that's Robbie Gordon in the lead.
Robbie Gordon in front of it. Pete Halsmer, I think, moving up on the outside. They got a fit through here, and there's a bunch of them coming down.
Great move by Robbie there to make the start and get out front. Very important, as I said before the race started. Jeremy's going to be very disappointed.
You're inside Halsmer's car looking at the back of Robbie Gordon's brand new Roush Mustang as they go through turns 3 and 4 right there.
This is a change of pace. I anticipated the Nissans to be very strong at the beginning of the race. The Yokohama's proved to be very quick in qualifying, and they've shown very strongly at the beginning of these races so far this season.
Under the garage area there, the right-hander, and then off onto the short chute. Short chute, you mentioned earlier, is a good place to pass, but it doesn't look like anybody's going to get anybody in this front group.
Well, Pete had a bit of a wobble there. It looked like he had some understeer coming off that corner, but Jeremy's not close enough to make a move. Robbie's safely in front, Pete in second, then we have the two Nissans.
Yeah, the other Nissan, Steve Millen, running in the 4th place spot as you watch the leader once again around to the turn 11 spot. The Whistler Mustang fishtails a lot as he came off of that corner.
Well, you can see Robbie's really conserving his tires there early on, but no, that's Robbie's style. I mean, that's to be anticipated. He's obviously excited. He's out front. He's young, but he's one hell of a driver. And look at the gap that he's pulled on Pete down that front straightaway.
Pretty stout-looking one as they come down here to us again. Heavy braking point there at turn 1. They're going to use up brakes and tires at that, aren't they?
That's right. I mean, it's an hour-long race, and the strategy here is just to be smooth and cool up front initially and have a strong car for the end of the race.
Well, Pete Halsmer not letting him get too far away in this initial go. Has spread out, qualifying-wise, as this field was. It's not going to take them very many laps of this 1.67-mile track, and they'll be in traffic.
That's right. I mean, we had a spread of some 23 seconds between the fastest and slowest car in the field today, so we anticipate within 5 to 6 laps that they'll be incorporating traffic, and it'll be a case of see who deals with the best.
You see a belch of flame coming out of several of the different cars out there. It looked like the biggest belch was coming out of the 2nd place car of Halsmer. That's a 4-rotor Mazda rotary engine, and it's not unusual for it to belch fire, is it?
Now, that's the norm. The viewers shouldn't be surprised by that. Every time there's a down change, this fuel explode in the muffler system and a flash coming out of the side of the car when the exhaust comes out of the chassis.
The rotary has to have a bigger muffler system to meet the decibel level requirements, right?
That's right. The Mazda are extremely loud, and it's a problem. I mean, the Mazda team, Jim Downing and all his crew are working constantly to make sure they're within those limits that are set by IMSA, and you know, it's important to keep that noise control down, especially on a street circuit such as this.
You're in turn 2 right now with Pete Halsmer. Here comes turn 3, and it's kind of a rhythmic section of this racetrack.
Very much so, and I anticipate through these tighter sections that Pete and Bryce Cobb in the Mazda should be in better shape. They don't have the turbo lag that the Nissans and the Mustangs have to deal with, and they should be able to get instantly on the throttle and not have that lag to deal with.
If you're just joining us, we're in Long Beach, California. It is the Exxon Supreme Series, and it is the Mustang in front, the Mazda in second, and then a pair of Nissan 300ZXs running third and fourth.
Seems like Robbie and Pete are pulling away fractionally from the two Nissans, and I don't know whether Jeremy and Steve are just trying to conserve their tires at this initial stage, or whether they're, you know, just not on the race pace of these two guys. It'll be interesting to see how the race develops.
And we've got one that is broken right there. It is the number 4. That's Tim Banks, I do believe, the Park Station Hotel sponsored car, which is a Chevrolet Lumina, and he has mechanical problems. You've mentioned several times about conserving tires. How big of a factor do you think tires are going to be, Calvin?
Well, I think it's very important. I mean, obviously on a street circuit, 11 turns as we have here, the Mazda has been proven. I've driven the car a couple of times this year, and it's very easy on the tires. It's a light car, a nicely balanced car. In fact, they've made some suspension changes since I drove the car at Sebring, and the car was originally designed around a certain tire, and the tire was changed by Goodyear, and where the Mazda team, Lee Dykstra, the designer, has now got the car back in the specification that works best for the tires, and they feel very confident about this race. Pete has won 2 races on the streets this year, so he is the street master, we could call it.
Good evening and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ian Wisbin in the booth for the VRG Virtual Racer League tonight, coming at you on a Thursday night with a special broadcast for the Tin Top finale. This is a Thursday night series we've been running with the gang while we're doing the open wheel series in the USF 2000s, so we can get a bit of that Tin Top GT racing we love so much. Takes place at the course we're going to be running next week in the series. In this case, our series finale is going to take place at the newly released iRacing Long Beach road course here. As you can see, miles of Jersey barriers here in this almost 2-mile 11-turn road course. Going to be some exciting action here this evening. Bunch of GT3 cars out there, a couple of GTE cars. Going to be quite a challenge here for our drivers. There's not a whole lot of room out there. As you can see, getting these cars around this bend might be a bit of a challenge. It's definitely going to require 2 feet, maybe 3 feet if you happen to have a third. So we're looking forward to the action this evening. We're going to pull up the points standings as overall as we are right now. It looks like top of the pile right now, Jim Karamanis, the ELB Racing, Racer Walsh co-sponsored. I believe Jim's out this evening in the Lamborghini, which he will be taking to the Sebring 12-hour in March. Currently on top with 138 points. Second place, just behind, knocking on the door, painting his back porch red, John Wood, Dipasport. I believe John's out in a BMW this evening. We'll pop around and find out. Darren Treacle there, Treacle Insurance Racing in third place with 96 points. Depending upon which car Darren takes out this evening, may be able to challenge there. But if he's out in another class and not fighting for the overall win, might not be a threat here this evening. Your broadcaster here, Ian Wisbin, currently sitting in fourth place with Dipasport. 92 points. Obviously, I'm not driving, and there's plenty of action, as we can see in the background there. I'm up here in the broadcast booth this evening so that my fellow commentator, Mr. Karamanis, can show us how it's done out there at Long Beach. Rounding out the top 5, we have Stefan Vappa Vintage Racing. I think we're going to catch up here with Stefan while we're in car out on track. That should be exciting, so you get a bit of a peek into the what it's like to be a VRG VRL racer at a course like Long Beach. I don't know that anybody has a ton of time on this track, so we're all going to be learning as we go. Certainly like to thank you for joining us there on YouTube and Facebook here on this Thursday night. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe so you find out when we get live. Share with your friends, get yourself a nice cold beverage, make yourself some popcorn, and sit down and enjoy some GT racing here on Long Beach. See if we have the action that I'm anticipating once we figure out how to get it around these bends. So this is Ian Wisbin with the VRG VRL. We got 45 minutes of qualifying action here, followed by a 15-minute race. We hope you enjoy it and enjoy that what looks to be a beautiful day at Long Beach. Let's pull that up real quick, take a look, see what track conditions are like. 2 miles an hour, not a whole lot of wind. It's a very pleasant 78 degrees Fahrenheit currently. Partly cloudy. Track temperature 115 degrees, so it's quite warm out there. You'll see how that affects everybody here this evening. Again, thanks for joining us out in Facebook, YouTube land. We appreciate you joining us on a Thursday night. Sit back, relax, enjoy a bit of VRL action here. We'll jump back with you in just a little bit. So this is Ian Wisbon with you this evening, the VRG VRL, riding along right now with Mac McCormick out in the Lamborghini. Mac putting in some laps here in this Lambo as we're getting ready for our 12-hour Sebring. Mac recently taking part in a 3-hour short enduro race at Sebring. You know, cut the teeth a little bit, see what it's like to do some extended stints in these cars. Finished out the 3-hour session there, putting in some cracking lap times at Sebring. Very consistent, about a 2-minute 8-second lap. Unfortunately, had a bit of a fumble during a pit stop. We were running close to the top 10 positions, but we got stuck in the car in the pit lane and unfortunately came back out in the low 20s and weren't able to make too much more progress after that. But Mac kept it on course, put in some consistent lap times, and brought it home. I believe we finished in 21st place overall, so kudos to Mac McCormick for that one as he figures out Long Beach in the Lamborghini. We're going to be jumping into the booth with a couple of our drivers while they're out on track figuring this one out. Always quick, Stefan Vappa, and I believe we're also going to talk a bit with Mad Mike Kelly here in just a little bit. Going to let them get a couple of more laps under their belt so they can figure out which way they're going out here in Long Beach. Honestly, I haven't paid much attention to this track in recent years. Probably the last time I watched the race at Long Beach, Al Unser Jr. was racing for the kart championship. So that might date this just a little bit for myself. Ralph Solomon out this evening, and there's, as per usual, Ferrari. Ralph, a big fan of the Ferrari. We'll pick it up with John Wood here, who also out in the Lamborghini, part of the Team Karamanis Car 72 team when we go to the Sebring 12. I will be driving as well. That'll be my first stint in a endurance race, so we're certainly looking forward to that one. John Wood, Mr. Consistent here, and as noted when we touch base with the point standings overall, currently running in second place, so he's a threat here for Jim Karamanis, VRL chairman. Carlos Bonds, as always, out in a nice Sanrio Hello Kitty liveried Corvette this evening. Can't miss Carlos when he's out on track. Mike Kelly out in the, I believe that's the BMW M8. I think he will soon be joined by Steve Ficacci out there. Stefan Vappa out there as well in the BMW M8. Stefan part of the team with, I believe, going to be Darren Treacle, Stefan Vappa, and Steve Ficacci. One of another VRG team taking part in the 12 Hours of Sebring. We're going to have 3 teams total. Might be a 4th if we get a couple of more drivers. Of course, we're all going to be in likely different splits, though it's possible a couple of us will wind up in the same split, so you might be able to watch the same stream and see a bunch of our teams racing together. The plan here is to be able to jump back and forth between the different splits, which, if we can pull that one off, kudos to our production team here at the VRG VRL live stream team. We've come a long way and coming up on a year of doing this. We started with 0 experience, and here we are now. So we got 45 minutes qualifying here. We're coming up on about halfway through that. We're going to let Stefan come around, finish up this lap. Maybe we'll jump into the room and have a bit of a chat with him, so I'll be back in just a little bit. Seems as if Stefan might be making a right there, heading for a corn dog, perhaps a refreshing beverage at the concession stand. Actually, that looks like the entrance to pit lane. Back with you here in just a little bit. This is Ian Wisman with the VRG VRL. Thanks for joining us in YouTube and Facebook land. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. We appreciate you watching. So, special treat for you watching out there in YouTube and Facebook land. We're in the car right now with Stefan Vappa. He's going to talk us around a lap here at Long Beach. Stefan, take it over.
All right, Ian. So, sixth gear, front straight, find the 500, ride the red line, second gear, come through, here's the fountain, second, first, tight, 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 slow and accurate. Back on it, short shoot, try to get on the gas early, a lot earlier than that. Cut this corner as much as you're comfortable with. Blast down your first brake here. Around the 300, hit the brakes. Second gear, get on early, but keep it off the wall. Which I did not. This one, you want to get a lot better than that. I don't drive so well when I talk. But we're going to brake around the 400. Just over the little raised curb. And on this, you want to keep it tight, 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 and then drop down to first and get all the lock you can. But don't slide the front, because if you slide the front, you'll never make the corner. It just has enough steering to get around.
Thank you very much, Stefan. Excellent. Had a bit of a video running from a 91 running of an IMSA race here. Looked like that corner in particular required quite a bit of skill and welly to get it around safely. Nicely done.
Yeah, it's the tightest corner I've ever had to race at.
How you enjoying Long Beach thus far? It was a tech track for a long time. Now it's the real deal. It looks like a great track.
It looks fantastic. I mean, there's so much scenery, so much to look at, and it's very busy in the periphery. But they did a fantastic job with it. I mean, I'm looking at it, and I'm seeing in my head all the videos and all the footage from watching the kart races over the years, and just thinking, yeah, that's where they were. It's beautiful.
Yep, that's about my frame of reference. Probably the last time I watched a race at Long Beach, unfortunately, when it was still, you know, PPG Kart, IndyCar, and Al Unser Jr. was going at it with all those great names of the day. So I can certainly see where you're coming from.
Yep, that was the last time I saw it.
Well, excellent. We got about 20 minutes here remaining in this qualifying session. I'll leave you to it, Stefan. Thanks for taking us for a lap around. Maybe we'll touch base with you a little bit later.
Yeah, you're welcome to. Talk to you later. Thank you.
Yep. And that was Stefan Vappa taking us for a lap around this Long Beach course. As noted, it was a tech track here in iRacing for quite some time, meaning that it was basically just the road course, not a whole lot of the colors filled in around the track. You know, the buildings, the trees, the grandstands, the fountains. We'll take it up to a blimp view here so we can see just how detailed the sim is here in iRacing. It's a beautiful looking course. As you can see, they spent a lot of time making sure it looks like the real deal. I haven't had a chance to drive around this myself, but now that we've had Stefan teach us how to get around it the quick way, we'll see how that pans out when I head to practice. I promise you, I'm going to leave some paint on the wall, and my body guy is going to be a little upset with me. Nice thing about iRacing, it's pretty quick to fix the car. So we got just under 20 minutes here remaining in practice. Currently on board with Mike Kelly out in the BMW. We're going to stick with this for just a little bit. As we're in a qualifying session here, as we jump around, the cars which are in different classes are going to, as you can see on the track map, it may relegate them to just the class that they're in. So that's why the track map disappears when we jump to Mike. Pick up here with Bob Lang, who's just ahead of him. Still figuring out the graphics here for this multi-class racing. We do have a mix here. We've got GTE cars, which are quicker than the GT3 cars, or GTD, at least insofar as the classifications go. Majority of the teams running in the Sebring 12 going to be running a GT3 car, though the Focacci Treacle Vappa team is going to be running a BMW M8 in the GTE. Take a look down pit lane. A little empty at this time. We'll take a look up the other side. We can see a couple of cars sitting there waiting to go. certainly have your hands full at this track. Not a whole lot of time to sit and breathe. Not a lot of room, and you can't make any mistakes because you're going to find that Jersey barrier pretty quickly. So looking at the timing tower, 30 minutes transpired here in this qualifying session. We got Steve Ficacci out on top with a minute 17.763. Leading in the other class is Mike Kelly. Right now, timing and scoring is showing him as the only car in what I believe to be the GTE IMSA class. Everybody else out in GTD. So Mike Kelly out on top of his group there, the minute 19.757. So Steve currently out there to beat the band. We can see a bit of flashing of lights here as we've got, not sure who's that right next to Mac. Mike Kelly coming up through. Flashing the headlights, letting Mac know he's there. Darren Treacle just behind Mike Kelly there. John Wood, Steve Ficacci here having a bit of a race here in this qualifying session. Steve backing out of it just a little bit, letting John go away. Let's ride along with John Wood. Dipasport Racing here, currently second in the points, chasing Jim Karamanis. Looking at our teams, right now John Wood, last lap, a minute 43. Let's pull up best times here real quick so we can see how everybody's stacking up. Jim Karamanis just ahead of John Wood there. John Wood's a quick lap, a minute 22.566 right now. Karamanis of 1:22.163. So Jim just ahead of John Wood here. Certainly has implications for the championship here this evening. Pulling that up real quick so we can take another look. Jim Karamanis currently out on top in the ELB Racing Racer Walsh Co. Lamborghini. John Wood in second place. Dipasport also out in the Lamborghini this evening. Darren Treacle in third. Treacle Insurance Racing. Myself there in fourth place. Not racing this evening, so I'm out of it. Stefan Vappa, who we rode along with a little bit earlier, out this evening in the BMW. Ralph Solomon there just ahead with a little bit of damage, which unfortunately looks like John Wood and Darren Treacle might have come together just a little bit. At least I think that was John Wood. Darren with a bit of damage there to the front of his BMW, taking it back to the pits. John with a bit of paint scraped off there in the left front. Not surprising here for this long beach course. As you can see, it's a tricky needle to thread here in these bigger cars. Making sure you get it wound down in time to get around the corner. Wafer thin gap there between John Wood and the Jersey barrier. Looking back through the history of Long Beach here, pulling up their Wikipedia page, IMSA GTO GTU in 90. GTO won by Dorsey Schrader. GTU by John Finger. Dorsey Schrader out there in a Mercury Cougar in 91. It was Steve Millen in a Nissan 300ZX. John Ferguson, a Dodge Daytona in the GTU class that year. 2006, you had Scott Pruitt and Louis Diaz and O'Reilly, the Rolex Sports Car Series. And then American Le Mans ran there for quite some time. Couple of notable race winners back in the day. 2009, Gilles de Ferran and Simon Pagenaud. In 2009, 2010, we had David Brabham and Simon Pagenaud again. As noted, 1.968 miles, 11 turns on this course. Lap record, a 1 minute 7.5511. Joseph Newgarden in a Dallara DW12. 2018 in an IndyCar. Looking at our lap times here, looks like Steve Focacci still out on top with a minute 17.763. Long way to go to take that track record. And then Mad Mike Kelly there in a minute 19.757. Getting a little closer to Steve's time. Coming up on about 5 minutes remaining here in this qualifying session. Then we're going to have a 15-minute race here for all the marbles. That's going to be Jim Karamanis fighting for that win right now. John Wood just behind him as we see him zooming past. Darren Treacle, third place. Myself, fourth. Stefan Vappa in fifth. So we're going to see which way this is going to go here. I know Jim Karamanis is hoping to step up on the top of that podium and spray that champagne here virtually with the VRL Tin Top Series on Thursday nights. We've been doing this every week as we've been running the open wheel cars so we can stay close to our roots in the Tin Top sedan racing. It also allows us to get a different perspective on the course for when we come back with the USF 2000s. But I will tell you, having done this more than a few times, and looks like Ralph Solomon there lost his rear windscreen. Driving the GT cars and then switching to the USF 2000 is, for me, a bit too much of a change. Let's just say my foot's a whole lot heavier the first couple of laps back in the open wheel car, and I generally punt it more than a few times. Jumping up here to the Treacle Insurance Blimp. We'd like to thank Treacle Insurance Agency for sponsoring the Blimp this evening, also sponsoring driver and owner Darren Treacle. We can see here, lovely view over Long Beach. Looks like a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Quite a bit different from where I'm sitting right now in Pittsburgh, though it has been a very pleasant day today in the mid-30s, low 40s. Not quite as nice as sunny California. Steve Focacci and the Focacci Family Racing BMW out there. Setting fast time after fast time. Looks like his perhaps last lap. Let's pull that one up here. Minute 19.396. Minute 17.763. Steve is out there hustling. VRG VRL race historian Jim Wisbin chiming in here over the text here, pointing out the Queen Mary. We haven't spotted her yet. Gonna have to pull up to the blimp cam at some point, see if they rendered that one in here. Pretty notable, piece of scenery here at Long Beach. The framed painting of it hanging on the wall from whenever Formula One used to run at Long Beach. Pull up the blimp cam here while we have a couple of minutes left. And follow Steve Focacci here around. Some deft maneuvering there from Steve Ficacci as we wind down the end of this qualifying session here. Tiptoeing around that fountain and avoiding a bit of collateral damage on the way in there. Steve looks to have this track pretty well sorted out. As you can see there, up close and personal with these Jersey barriers here in Long Beach, California. I expect this to be a rather intriguing start here at the beginning. We'll see how this goes. Track's not terribly wide at start-finish for cars of this size and stature, so we'll see how that one goes into turn one. Hopefully everybody's respectful and very ginger about it. Should be final lap attempt here for Stefan Vappa. The checkered flag has flown, but this lap will count when he comes around, presuming he doesn't have a X as a result of contact. We'll see what he comes in with here. Currently in third position. Let's see if he can put it on top here at the end. And it looks like he will remain in third place with a 1:18.180. Steve Ficacci going to take pole position here with a 1:17.161. We'll pick up with Stefan here if we can on this cool down lap, see how it went for him. Stefan, Ian here in the broadcast booth, picking you up in your cool down here at the end of qualifying. How'd it go for you?
Not too bad. It's a little bit interesting because I had Steve following me for a while, and I turned one of my best laps ever, and I was so slow that he almost ran up the back of me.
We're watching up here in the broadcast booth, a couple of real nice camera angles. We can see just how close Steve is getting to those Jersey barriers there, so he's really taken up every inch of pavement that he can. But you yourself have been quick as well, qualifying in third place here in this race. What do you expect in turn one at the start of this race here? You think it's going to be a clean one, or you think it's going to be a bit dicey?
I don't think turn one's going to be too bad. I'm looking at the fountain as being the issue. I think people are going to be pretty respectful of turn one and then find out that the brakes when they're cold and the tires when they're cold, and the fountain might be a little bit too tight for what the pace they want to try to go into it. But we'll see. It is going to be interesting also in the final corner. I expect that anybody not in the first few cars is likely to get stopped there. It's just something else, that corner. I don't know whether I figured it out. It certainly doesn't feel like it. Oh man.
Well, you got 15 minutes to figure it out with everybody else while they're still figuring it out, so it'll make for a great show. We thank you for riding along with us, or letting us ride along with you, Stefan. Good luck tonight. We'll jump out while you get ready to race tonight, and have a good one out there.
Thank you, Ian.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get started here very shortly as our grid fills up. Let's see if we can hurry up and jump through the qualifying. Pulling up our grid here. Qualifying in pole position, we got Steve Ficacci out in New Jersey, Darren Treacle Insurance Racing in second, Stefan Vappa, who we just rode along with, Vappa Vintage in third, Mike Kelly in fourth, Bob Lang in fifth, Jim Caramanis currently sitting on top of the points in sixth, John Wood just behind Jim Caramanis in points in seventh place from Dippasport, Carlos Bonds in eighth, Mac McCormick ninth, Ralph Solomon 10th, Kurt Uzbey 11th. We might be getting ready to roll off here. Green flag is out. and dropped. We are away clean and live at Long Beach with the Tin Top Series finale. This is going to be a good one, folks. Pretty much a brand new track for everybody out there, so they're still figuring out whether it's a left or a right at the end of the front straight. It's a right. No, it's a left. Shows what I know. Clean through 1, 2 so far. We look to be doing okay. So far, Steve Ficacci out in lead, Darren Treacle just behind, Stefan Vappa in third place, Mike Kelly fourth, Jim Karamanis in fifth, our championship leader at the moment, John Wood not too far behind, Mac McCormick in seventh, Bob Lang in eighth, Carlos Bont ninth, Kurt Uzbey in 10th place. Jim Karamanis looks to have spun. That's going to be tough. See if Jim can get it back under the steam and into the race. Jim falling back to 10th place at this point, and Ralph Solomon rounding out there in 11th place. Currently following along with Stefan Vappa. I'm going to pull up our race leader here, Steve Ficacci. Let's jump in the cockpit with him. We'll finish out this first lap here with Steve. Cold tires. We'll see how they're going to do here once they get around to this hairpin turn, which has proved problematic thus far. Nice and tight there for Steve. Darren, Stefan all through safely. Mike Kelly through. John Wood and the Lamborghini also through nicely. Falling back a little bit from the top four here in this pack. Looks like Mac McCormick, Bob Lang, Carlos Bonds behind. Sanrio giving Mac McCormick a run for his money back there. Hello Kitty looks angry, and she's looking for a win this evening. Jumping back to Jim Karamanis, he may have taken some damage. Looks like he's headed into the pit lane, perhaps for repairs to fix up his car. We shall see. Maybe we can jump in a little bit closer to his car, or perhaps a black flag. Uncertain. We will check in with him a bit later. So 1, 2, 3. Steve Ficacci, Darren Treacle, Stefan Vappa. All BMWs out front. The home office in Munich, I'm sure, is extremely happy with the running thus far here at Long Beach with the VRG VRL. This is Ian Wisbin in the booth. We thank you for joining us out in YouTube and Facebook land. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell. Get notifications when we go live. Don't miss a moment. We'll be back here Tuesday night at Long Beach in the USF 2000s for our final race in our open wheel series. Your host this evening, gonna give it another shot. Probably gonna wreck a few cars. Should be a good time. Mike Kelly navigating the fountain there. Top three cars getting away from him just a little bit. Stefan Vappa with a little bit of distance between him and second place Darren Treacle. Uncertain who that was there in the wall. Looks like it might have been Kurt Uzbey. There's a 15-minute race here this evening. We're just about 4 minutes into it thus far. John Wood currently running in 5th place in the Lamborghini. If it stays the way it is right now, I think John Wood's going to be able to take this over Jim Karamanis. It's a smaller field, though, this evening, and if Jim can put the pedal to the metal, he might be able to fight his way back, make up some time. Stefan falling off here. Having a bit of a hard time keeping up with Darren and Steve out front. Darren, 2.5 back from Steve Ficacci. Let's see if he's able to make some time up here. Seems to be a difficult place to really claw your way back. Though Steve's going to be running into some traffic here, so this might be to Darren's... Oh, Darren locked it up, goes into the wall there. Unfortunate for him. Stefan able to squeak behind. Let's see if Darren can get away cleanly here. Kurt Uzbey just behind. Let's hope he can get underway again. Darren Treacle there falling back to 3rd place. Stefan Vappa picking up 2nd place here. Now it's up to Stefan. A little bit of a touch of the wall there to catch up to Steve Ficacci. I expect he's pushing pretty hard because Steve's got quite the lead on him at this point. Picking up with Steve Ficacci. Let's jump in the cockpit with him and see what it looks like from his point of view as he comes up on Bob Lang. This might slow him down just enough for Stefan to catch up. We shall see. Though Steve looks to have caught him at about the perfect place on this track to get around him and start to put some time and distance between Stefan and himself. Timing and scoring reporting that both our championship leader Jim Karamanis and 2nd place John Wood have had incidents out on track. Darren Treacle, obviously we saw him contact the wall just a bit. We're going to jump back here real quick, see what happened to Jim Karamanis, and then pick up with John Wood and see what his incident was about. This might just be a little bit of a fender bender, but race control saying that we had some contact and a crash here. Looks like Jim may have just misjudged the hairpin there. So far, I don't see a crash. We'll jump over to John Wood, see what happened to him. As you can see, John and Jim both out in Lamborghini, of course, practicing for the Sebring 12. Back to live action here. Jim Karamanis currently running down in 9th place. John Wood up in 5th place. So John currently out on top to take the points in the championship here if it ends as it's running right now. Back up to our race leader, Steve Ficacci. Just a kiss of the wall there. Probably no contact. Carlos Bonds ahead in the Sanrio Hello Kitty Corvette. Stefan Vappa just making his way through the hairpin. Darren Treacle has recovered from his prior shunt and is currently filling up Stefan's back mirror. Just over halfway through here, we got Steve Ficacci out on top right now. Stefan Vappa currently running in 2nd place, though Darren Treacle, who was in 2nd, seems to be running down Stefan Vappa. So this could get exciting here for the battle for 2nd place. Pull up our battle box here real quick. Stefan allowing Darren by there. Uncertain what that was about. Unfortunately, I looked away for a moment and then things changed. Uncertain if Stefan maybe has a problem or letting Darren back around due to the unfortunate shunt Darren had prior. Just have to say a big kudos to the iRacing team. This Long Beach track looks excellent. The amount of detail going on here and the realism is outstanding. The palm trees look like I'm driving very quickly around Long Beach, California. It looks like a very pleasant day there. Record crowd here to see the VRG VRL tackle Long Beach here in the Tin Top finale. Mike Kelly currently running in 4th place. Mike explaining earlier to the VRG VRL, he took part in I believe it was a 2, perhaps 3-hour enduro. Certainly mixed class racing. iRacing has some truck racing series. What was in there? A Pro 2 truck for a 3-hour enduro. Daytona prototypes, LMP2 Acura, Pro 2 trucks. So trucks out on this track with LMP cars and Daytona prototypes. So if you're sitting at home thinking, man, you know, I want to go racing, but I want a little something different. I want a little something to challenge me. Well, you can run in a 3-hour enduro in a truck against Daytona prototypes and LMP cars. Sky's the limit. Really a good time. If you're thinking about maybe getting involved here, you'd like to find out more, certainly shoot an email to info@vrgonline.org. Tell us you'd like to get involved with the VRG Virtual Racer League, and myself, Jim Karamanis, one of the other drivers, will reach out, explain to you how we all got on board about a year ago this time. A number of people went out, got rigs, got wheels, and we all spent the last year and over the winter racing with each other, having a great time, and afterwards having a beer, almost like we're in the paddock, but from the comfort of your home. Generally, the beer is a whole lot cheaper and the line to the restroom a whole lot shorter. Steve Ficacci almost 10 seconds out ahead of second place. Darren Treacle here behind him. Mike Kelly in 3rd place at this point. Stefan Vappa falling back to 4th. Stefan apparently having some issues here at Long Beach this evening. A couple of rubber marks there on the wall back there. Coming into the closing minutes here of this race, as it stands right now for our championship, John Woods running in 5th place, Jim Karamanis in 9th. As it stands, I do believe that Mr. Wood is going to take the championship here in the Tin Top Series. Mr. Consistency, John Wood. We'll jump in with him with Dippa Sport Racing. Aptly named for the Dippas that John enjoys so much. Went at the track with the rest of the Dippa Sport team. Looking forward to taking out the 1989 BMW 325 IS to, I believe that's pit race in April. We're going to do another endurance series in the BMW in the real world, and then, of course, enjoy some dippas, likely provided by Dancing Gnome Brewery, local here to Pittsburgh. Excellent stuff. If you have the opportunity, I highly recommend it. Of course, once the race is over, we'll pull a couple of our drivers in, get a chance to talk to them. We'll see who shows up. Jim may not be too terribly pleased given the results thus far. I don't necessarily expect a miracle, but who knows? Anything can happen here in racing. Steve Ficacci still out in front, though Darren has reeled him in a little bit. Cut that gap down to about 7.3 seconds, down from almost 10. So Darren making some serious time. Mike Kelly working his way around the fountain. Stefan Vappa just behind. I believe that's John Wood just ahead. No, that might be Jim Karamanis. Yes, that is Mr. Karamanis. Should be last lap, working last lap as Steve Ficacci comes around. We might get one more out of this, not quite sure. Timing and scoring is a little weird when it comes down to the last lap of the race, but we're at 15 minutes, so I'm going to guess this is last lap. We may be watching Steve Ficacci come around to take the win here at Long Beach. We shall see. Navigating around the fountain here, keeping it tidy, keeping it clean, and very quick. Pulling up our best time. Steve with the fastest lap in this race session, a 1:17.650. Darren Treacle just behind a 1:17.782. You can see him back there in the distance. Probably not going to be able to reel Steve in, though. It looks like he's taken a second off in this lap alone. Just narrowly avoiding Mac McCormick there, who had a spin, almost collected the race leader. Steve coming around this hairpin for the last time and putting it onto the front straight. This is going to be the end of the race. Checkered flag is out, folks, and here's your race winner, Steve Ficacci. We're going to pick up Darren Treacle as he crosses the finish line to pick up his checkered flag here at Long Beach with the VRG VRL, the season finale for our Tin Top Series. Darren Treacle, Treacle Insurance Racing, taking second place here. We'll pick up Mike Kelly as he comes around a little bit further back around the track. Mike and Stefan having a bit of a race here just at the end. Looks like Stefan's going to give Mike a run for his money here. Mike running wide, touching the wall. Stefan goes around to the outside. Looks like he's going to be able to get Mike. Mike stays to the inside. Stefan to the outside. Too wide around the bend. Contact. We've got 4 cars in the corner at the same time. Mike Kelly looks like he's going to sneak away and has come out of that ahead. Stefan looks to be still stuck back there trying to get himself turned around. That looks like John Wood may have come through. Nope, that's Jim Caramanis. Stefan's going to back it up, get it turned around, and get going. I don't know what's going on here, but it looks like, oh, that would be after start finish. So, of course, a bit of hijinks after we cross the start finish line, so that's all good. Jan Boss, John Wood taking 5th place here. I think that's going to do it for the championship. We'll pull that up once timing and scoring gets the points out to us. Whole lot of excitement there at the end. How's this finish? We got Steve Ficacci finishing, taking the win. Darren Treacle in 2nd place. Mike Kelly in 3rd. Stefan Vappa 4th, finishing in 4th place. And John Wood rounding out that top 5. Wait for timing and scoring to pull up our results here and see how this is going to stand. So, race winner Steve Ficacci, 2nd place Darren Treacle, 3rd place Mike Kelly, 4th place Stefan Vappa, 5th place John Wood. Checking with the results here overall, it seems as if we might have a bit of a mix-up in how all of this is scoring. I apologize for everybody if it's not quite accurate. Mike Kelly out on his own, taking 43 points there in his group. Overall, we got Steve Ficacci out on top. Now, let's take a look at our championship standings and see how that goes. This is the one that I don't trust. Let's see if we can update those overall standings, because I'm pretty sure those are the same points that we had before this all got started. Nope, because I fell out of the points. As it stands, Jim Caramanis is out on top in points. John Wood, 2nd place, 168. Darren Treacle in 3rd place, 138. Stefan Vappa, 4th with 122. And Mac McCormick rounding out the top 5 at 112 points. If that is in fact accurate, then Jim Caramanis takes the championship win here. I don't know that that's true. But we shall see. Updated again. Now we got 3 times the points. Not really sure what's going on here, folks. That's all right. Let's take a look. See, I'm going to step out of the broadcast booth for a moment, try and find our drivers and get some post-race interviews. Thanks for bearing with.
Shit, I guess.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. We got everybody pulled in the broadcast booth.
Oh.
Well, yeah, heads up. Sorry, I usually give you the heads up, but we're doing it live. I haven't been in the booth in a little while, so, you know, pardon me if I'm a little rusty. Welcome to the broadcast. Race winner this evening, Steve Ficacci. Congratulations on that one. We've also got our second place finisher, Darren Treacle. Who else do we have here? Stefan, we don't have at the moment. I'm going to pull him in just a moment. Let me grab him so we're all here in the room. Oh, there he goes. Stefan, welcome. Thanks for joining us here in the broadcast booth. Let me hide the current points, pull up our race results. Steve out on top, Darren second, Mike Kelly finishing in third, Stefan in fourth, John Wood in fifth place. Exciting stuff out there. We'll start with Mr. Ficacci. How did you find it this evening out there at Long Beach? Nice drive, quick lap times, and let me tell you, wafer thin between you and the wall in a couple of those turns there out there this evening.
Yeah, it's the only way you can drive a circuit like this. Just no fear. Got to be one with the circuit. And, if you try to be safe, you're going to lose seconds. It's just, you can't drive slow. I really enjoyed it. The car handles the bumps here well. I liked it a whole lot more than the USF 2000 we just got out of, but it's a good ride.
Well, it looked like a lot of fun. Darren, you were certainly making up some time there towards the end, just not enough to catch Steve. Also, you looked to have a little unfortunate incident there with the tire wall close to the end, but why don't you give us a bit about your race here at Long Beach?
It was good. I like Long Beach. I've run a little bit here, actually, in this car. So yeah, no, it was fun. I was zipping along there behind Steve, just hanging out, and just missed my braking point there going into turn one, and just couldn't get the car woe down enough to make the turn, and got sucked into the old wall a little bit, but that didn't seem to damage the car too much. And I just went back out and pounded out the laps.
Well, you were railing them. I think at some point Steve had about almost 9.5, 9.6 lead on you, but there towards the end you were pulling off probably a second a lap. So figuring counting turns and perhaps a little bit of traffic or trouble along the way, which I think wound up impacting Stefan's race. We'll get to Stefan here in just a little bit, but we'll jump to third place and talk to Mad Mike Kelly. Mike, how was it for you out there this evening? Looked like you had a lot of fun. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I don't know if I really deserve that third place. Stefan had a good race. He gave it to me twice almost, and I told him in the chat that I was sorry for that incident. When we came to the left-hander, I just didn't want to give it up, but it was entertaining coming through the last corner nonetheless with the cars blocking the entire track and drag racing to the finish. But it's a fun track. I really enjoy it, and it's fun to be out there with everyone.
Well, Stefan, we'll throw it to you at this point. The camera was pointed in the wrong direction down track, so I didn't really see what was going on up track, but you, of course, got a windshield full of it. I didn't realize that there was construction along the way, but tell us a bit about your lap. I mean, or your race this evening. Certainly it was a pleasure with us riding along with you this evening so you could talk us through how to get around here, but you did have a couple of trouble spots there. So how was it for you there this evening?
That was scrappy. I'm, as Steve says, you got to be at one with the track, but you also got to be at one with the car. And I struggle with this car on a good day at any track, and this track is brand new to me. So I was happy to be where I was. And when Darren had his turn one issue, I'm looking up, and I know Steve has pace on me, but I figure if I can at least start to match his lap times, maybe just pressure him. But I'm 6 seconds back. It was probably the stupid thing to do. So I've got a corner. I don't know which one it is, but it's a right-hander, and I have yet to figure it out. So I was trying to smooth it out. I was trying to hit my apexes, and I just hit the inside. I hit the apex a little bit too tight, and it crinkled the fender. So that gave me a meatball, and they called me into the pits to get the car fixed. So I did that, and before that happened, I let Darren by, told him I had the meatball. Got in the pits, got a quick repair, came out behind Mike, and I thought, well, there's a possibility. It's not great, but I'll give it a shot. And I think he had a couple of issues, and then I was right behind him, and he got just slightly into the wall, and that gave me a run into the last complex. And then we come around there side by side. He says he didn't want to give up the corner, and I started to come down to just get enough track to be able to turn right and make that hairpin. Uh, and we just tapped a little bit. So now I'm going backwards, and I look in my rear view mirror, and I can't reverse because there's cars back there. But I never saw them. Coming around the corner, I would have been as surprised to see him in my windshield. I was just as surprised to see him in my rear window. I had no idea they were there. So the yellow flag was a little late on that one for me. But man, what a fun track and a fun race. I think if you're comfortable with the car, you can really, really get a kick out of this track.
It certainly looked like a blast from our point of view. I mean, the amount of detail that they put into it, the iRacing team, it's really pretty amazing to sit back and watch all that. Sorry I wasn't out there with you. I probably would have just spent another Jersey barrier as opposed to moving chicane. But we did have a great time watching up here. Now, we've also got VRL Chairman Mr. Karamanis in the booth with us this evening, as well as John Wood, Jan Boss. Tightly contested out there. I don't know if Mr. Karamanis has had a chance to take a look at the standings, but it looked like a rough one for you out there, Jim. I think you probably know what it wound up being overall here with the points, which I'm going to update in a little bit. But why don't you tell us a bit about your race there, Jim? Looked like a tough one from our point of view.
Yeah, so first of all, I'm battling with my teammate. We're teammates in the endurance series, and that's why we've got the same paint job. So, sort of love-hate, because you want to win, but at the same time as your teammate. So whatever happens, you're going to be happy. But my whole goal tonight was just start in front of him, because I know how difficult it is to pass on this track, and I did a good job. I got pole for GT3. I got fastest lap for GT3. Unfortunately, I bended on the first lap, and that was really all she wrote. So congratulations to John. I have sneaked a peek. So I'm going to steal your thunder a little bit, Ian, and say congratulations to John. He not only won the GT3 championship, but the overall points championship. Well done, buddy.
Thanks, Jim. That was a fun race. I was a little bit apprehensive about coming to this track just because I didn't know anything about it, hadn't run on it before, and the street tracks that I have run on have always been a little bit sketchy. At least I've been sketchy on them. But I learned the track and comfortable with the car. We've been driving this Lambo for a while, so that's good. I just found a rhythm, and as you know, it's really about consistency on stuff like this. So I love this track. I hadn't raced it before, but I really enjoy it, and I think you've heard that from other people as well.
Yep. Just pulling up the championship standings here. I updated them from timing and scoring. John Wood taking the overall championship, 154 points. Jim Karamanis is 153. Darren Treacle in a third place there with 114. Stefan with 94. Me and Mac tied for fifth place there. Mike, I think you take overall in your group somehow, some way with this multi-class points. But congratulations there, John Wood, taking the win and the championship. The championship overall here this evening. Nicely done. Very consistent, and as told on the broadcast, Mr. Consistency generally here from you there, John. So nice work there.
Thanks. This was a lot of fun, this Tin Top series. So we'll have to do something different next time, but hopefully we have, the same group plus a few more that join us.
Yeah, and John and I, of course, will be campaigning this car with you, Ian, at the Sebring 12 Hour. So look forward to coming back together as a team and hopefully putting on a good show there.
Definitely, and we've also got another entire team sitting in the room here between Darren, Stefan, and Steve. You'll be competing as well in the Sebring 12, and you guys are going to be out in the BMW. Is that correct?
I think that's the current plan.
Yeah, I believe
Current
so.
plan. We got a month though, right?
Yeah, we could always change our minds.
Could always change our mind the night before.
Flip a coin, go big, go LMP.
I don't know if that's going to happen, but
I'd be happy, but I might be the only one.
I'm a big fan myself, but at Sebring, given how much driving we got to do and my wheel setup, I'm going to be a puddle on the floor by the time I'm done. But
Yeah.
Anyways.
I think I'm ready to just kind of suck it up and drive the BMW. I've been trying to practice in it as much as I can. It's much like what we talked about at Indianapolis in the USF 2000. We're friends, but we're not best friends.
Right. Yeah, I hear I hear you there. Well, we'll be back here on Tuesday night with our usual Tuesday night broadcast in the USF 2000s. I expect it's going to be another challenge, open wheel cars, tight course, so should be some exciting stuff next Tuesday night. Certainly, we appreciate you gentlemen for joining us here in the broadcast booth. Steve, congratulations on your win here this evening. John, congratulations on the overall. And nicely driven, everybody here this evening. Thanks for showing off this Long Beach course for everybody.
Thanks, Ian.
Y'all
Thanks,
have
Ian.
a good night. We're going to hang up
Thank
on the
you.
broadcast side. You have an enjoyable evening, a nice weekend, and I'll see you Tuesday behind the wheel.
Sounds great.
See ya.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us here at the VRG VRL. Thanks for joining us on a Thursday night for the Tin Top season finale at Long Beach. We'll be back here next Tuesday night at 8 p.m. for our usual race events. Jim Karamanis will be back in the booth. I expect he'll probably have somebody join him for just a little bit. We hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. Again, if you want to get involved, shoot us an email, info@vrgonline.org. Swing by the VRG's website at vrgonline.org. We've also got a mailing list, a nice chatty group. If you want to join up, learn a bit about this, happy to have you join us. Tell you exactly what you got to do to get involved. And you can pick us up in our next season. Details yet to come on that one. What car we're going to pick, what tracks we're going to race. We may go to Europe for a little bit. We may bounce across all the continents. We shall see. But we thank you for joining us again. This is Ian Wisman with the VRG VRL. We hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, turn on the notifications, share with your friends. Everybody have a very enjoyable weekend, and we'll see you on Tuesday night. Thanks, everybody.